to the best netball podcast ever! Ever. Hi, I'm Chris. I'm buzzing today.
Hi, I'm Carla, and I'm just going to have to calm Chris down today.
Hello, I'm Pete the producer, and I'm here to make sure you two follow the script, because you're a couple of lunatics, aren't you? You're loose cannons.
Pete's had to print the script out in size 72 font just so Chris can see it.
Oh, I see. You're already starting to be mean, just so listeners think it's you and not just me. Got it.
Chris has got her spectacles on. You can't blame her for this.
Exactly. Right, I think we need to very quickly mention the news just out that Netball Aid 2 is coming very soon.
Chris, are we playing or not? Let's cut to the chase here. Are we on that court? Surely.
Have you not been asked?
Don't wind me up. This is no way.
Have you not had the text? Oh, lucky.
If we do get
I'll
on court,
see you there.
we definitely need to be on opposite teams. That'll be way more fun.
It's on the 15th of November at the NEC. More details are going to keep being listed. We don't know yet what celebrities are going to be involved in this, but I think from last year, so many are going to be begging to play now. It was such a good event. Obviously, we're going to be there.
Yeah, get your tickets purchased, support the charity, and watch some really, I want to say awesome netball. Can we say that? I don't know what
We'll
category
see.
this
Depends
falls
who's
in.
playing and whether they follow the rules.
Let's talk a little bit before we go on to our busy show about UK fantasy netball. Chris, we haven't started well. I'm a little bit embarrassed.
So embarrassed. I don't want the league table to keep being put out there.
I don't get it. Surely, with our level of netball knowledge, I'm going round Nat Panagary's house later. Seriously.
She's in my squad too. But what's frustrating is on paper, my team is wicked. What's gone wrong?
Yeah, I blame the system. I blame the algorithm. However it's calculated, it's not working. It's not
Damn
reflected.
you, Lauren Nichols.
But whilst we're on this subject, actually, I've got a good question for you. Let's do a little exercise here. If you had to draft a fantasy netball team that was made up entirely of players we've had on the podcast, who's making your starting 7?
Oh, what a great question.
But surely between us, actually, we've got some serious talent in our WhatsApp group. Who's in the lineup?
So we're not including ourselves in this, no?
No. Purely guess.
Okay. Well, straight away, I'm going to say Sonya McLoma, just because I absolutely love her and she'd have to be on the team.
Yeah, good one. Fair enough.
We're going to have Nat. I mean, she needs to up her performance and we will make that very clear to her, but Nat Panagary's in.
Yeah, agreed. Tick. Alice
Who
Harvey?
do you think?
Let's get Alice Harvey in.
Love Alice. We need some height, don't we, surely?
Yeah.
We've got to have that height.
Yeah, a bit of youth.
Why don't we get an ex-coach in? One of our favourite ever interviews.
Tracy Neville.
Yes.
Done. Yeah.
I think we have to. And obviously she did play for England, so I bet she still has some skills.
Definitely, yeah. What about, in fact, I've got a good one. If we're going for coaching, do you know one of my favourite interviews, which just for me still counts getting in our team? How about our friend Emily Handyside, Welsh Feathers head coach?
Yes. She gives the best hugs as well.
She's in.
We need her on the squad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in.
100%. Oh, another friend of the show. We've got to have Lauren Nichols in, even though she is winning it. Fantasy netball. We'll allow her in, I reckon.
Clearly she's got some good choices, so she might help.
Yeah,
her.
well, true. Yeah, she can help
She's
with the
got
positioning.
form. We need to think about who interviewed well, who was a good guest, who got some real traction. Tell you who I reckon we should go for. Ella Bowen. She's brave, resilient. They're skills you need, right?
Yeah, she's great.
She in?
And what a player she was as well. Yeah.
So line
She's
up
in
complete.
then. Obviously, this is pre-injury when she was, feeling good, but she's in.
Yeah, we're done.
I think that's quite an exceptional. But should we have an 8th? Because I think you always need a sub, don't you?
Okay, you going for?
Let's be clever about this.
So many options.
What about your brother? We have it as a mixed team. I thought he was great. Good old James.
Your call. You could decide on our 8th player.
But then we can't have a mixed team with only one guy in there.
Yeah, we don't comply with England netball's rules.
I know.
Beth Cobden?
I know who. No, well, yes. I mean, she maybe
Possible.
could be the 8th. So then we're going to have to go 9th then, because we have to get Trish, you do.
Yeah.
I love Trish.
Should bring a bit of banter, bit of
A
noise.
bit of fun.
Yeah, done, settled.
I'm
She's
happy
in.
with that team.
Right.
And we're obviously the managers, right?
Yeah, I'll be coach, you be team manager.
Deal. When are we playing this match?
We need to get on with the show anyway. We've got some great guests
okay.
today. I can't wait for our first interview.
So first up, we have Sonya Otterway. She is literally been on a mission to change the global netball landscape. She's the co-founder and CEO of Netball America, an organisation that's been instrumental in introducing and growing netball across the United States, taking a sport traditionally dominated by Commonwealth and planting it firmly on the map.
Sonya Otterway, the CEO of Netball America, the driving force behind the growth of netball across the US. Under Sonya's leadership, Netball America has ignited passion, participation and competitive ambition in a country where netball is rapidly evolving from grassroots sport to international competitive discipline. In this conversation, we're hoping to explore the netball in the US, the version for elite performance and what it would take the US to one day compete in the Olympic medals alongside some of the world's best. Welcome, Sonya.
Thank you.
How accurate was that introduction? Does that sound anything like real life? Is it? Are we on point?
I know, summarised in a couple of sentences, all the hard years of toil, sweat and tears as such.
Bless you.
Just makes me laugh a bit.
So can you share how you first became involved with netball in the US and what motivated you to take on the CEO role in Netball America? Talk me through it.
Well, I'll condense it into the short version, right? You might be surprised to know it's been here for over 50 years. Like, it's been around a long time, but it's only been played by expats, right? That come and go and leave. So there was no strategic plan or vision at all to grow it with American citizens, right, as a grassroots sport here. And that's where we saw the opportunity. You know, I had a big background in umpiring and playing and went to World Cup qualifiers and all that good stuff. Really, the benefits netball gives you, you know, on and off the court and seeing a big potential here with Americans, especially kids, to get engaged in this global sport was really what ignited the passion to change what's been going on for the past 50 years, get going with that.
Okay, so how would you describe the current landscape of it in the US, both at grassroots and elite? Where are you up to? What's been the most exciting developments recently?
Like, it's so right. We have such a large scale and there's so much, and how we've broken it down into 4 pillars is how Netball America operates, right? So one we have, which is probably the most important and the most area of investment, is our US education curricula, aimed at whether it's from the little kids right through your elementary, middle, high school. That's been a big development because we have to get it at that grassroots level so these young American kids grow up knowing what the sport is. So that's one of the big pieces of what we do. And you can't just go in and start up a sport anywhere, right, and introduce it into a classroom. There's a whole lot of, you know, I could write a book on all of that. But we've been successful because of, you know, our integrity, our leadership, our governance, and our exciting program that we've delivered and tailored to the American PE teacher. So we're pretty proud of that. It's taken many, many years to learn and get that right, and it's won awards. So we're pretty excited about that and what it brings out for us. Then we have our community programming. So that's developing and setting up clubs around not only the US, but Canada as well. You know, a lot of folks that have moved to the US that want to start playing netball and don't know how to navigate the American sporting landscape. You know, there's a lot of things to consider. You can't just go and play netball in a park on a Saturday. It's not that easy. So setting up clubs. So now we're, you know, over 50 plus clubs across the US and Canada. So we're pretty excited with that. And then you've got the community programming for the minorities, right? So there's a lot of underserved youth here where netball's helping them. So we created Be an Inspiration. And so that is now a global award-winning program. We've got that up and running in more than just the USA, but it's been recognized by some high-profile organizations like Nike, Billie Jean King, tennis legend, Women's Sports Foundation. Like, we really raise the profile of that through that community programming. And that targets your more community center type, YMCAs, things like that. And then another piece we have is the elite pathways. So you all know netball, you all know the top in the world, and it's been the same top countries in the world for the past 50 years.
And
right?
I'm getting the impression you're from one of those top countries. This isn't an American accent, is it?
Well, yeah, I grew up in Australia. Yeah, but I've been here 25 plus years in America.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still got
So
that
even though
Aussie twang.
Yeah, no, probably because I've just been home for a month too for the holidays. So it's probably a bit more stronger than it usually is. But to get to that world, we got to have a pathway, right? So we've created pathways for athletes, coaches and umpires. And we've got a lot of different things, we do with that. We actually sent our mixed team out to the EMNA championships last year, and they finished pretty good, 7th out of 32. So sending them to competitions is really helping us gauge where we're at and what work we need to do, right? We just sent the mixed team to the Dubai Sevens and they got to the finals, right? Got the silver medal. So we're pretty proud of that as well. So we have that whole pathway. And then our last big area is events. The showcase is the US Open Netball Championships, right? It aligns with other US sports. We just had Siggy Berger out here as one of our commentators in November. And so we teamed her up, like we had Siggy Berger, we got a WNBA coach from the Indiana Fever, which is a massive basketball team here in the United States. We also got a World Series baseball champion, Brian Anderson from the Chicago White Sox, won a World Series, and then plus one of our first ever American netball athletes that represented the USA at the World University Games. So we teed up the four of them together, which was pretty special to deliver the programming. And then we do other events. We have a lot of member events we support around the nation because it's important as we get this going, especially at grassroots. You've got to have consistency, right? You've got to have, like I said, integrity. If the US public sees something that's not in line with American sporting standards, right, and disorganization and things like that, do you really think they'd get on board with netball?
There's so much going on. I think people obviously underestimate the huge amount of work involved in kind of changing a mindset of a nation, isn't there? And I think there's so much of what you're talking about will resonate with other countries that are also probably trying to drive netball and other sports. And I think there's so much work to be done in that education piece of what you've said. It sounds like the structure you've got in place is going to create a real difference.
And it's going to take time, but it does take the help of the global community. We've been fortunate to have so many people over the years. We just had Gretel Boetta out here. So that helps, and it helps our members see and experience the elite level that is happening around the world, because you don't see it, right? It's hard to get netball on TV here. There's, to be honest, across the Americas region, just the lack of competitiveness and teams even and tournaments, we struggle. So we look to send our teams outwards to get that experience and exposure.
Is there any plan to look at trying to get your team into the world netball rankings? Obviously, at the moment, there's probably not enough international test matches that you need to have played. Is there a plan for that?
So not specifically with Netball America, right? So I don't know if you're aware, and this is quite interesting, but even though Netball America is the largest netball organization in the USA and is the one driving and doing the governance, unfortunately, there's been another member that's a member of the World Netball that's been around for the 40 plus years that's not driving the governance and structure that's needed here to run the US, hence why there is no ranking of that. We've been trying really hard over the years to work with all the relevant parties to get that fixed. It's just unfortunate, there's some folks at the different levels who may not want change, don't like change, maybe think they're doing a good job. So we're just keeping growing and getting better and driving more folks to be playing netball, because it's all got to start at the grassroots before you can even go and compete. And in the Americas, you got to, you got to get to the level and standard to be able to qualify, right? And you got to be able to beat the likes of Barbados and Trinidad and Tobago, right? But you have to just get the athletes first of all and get the American athletes and get them to be at that level. You can't just rely on expats who come and live here for 2 years, get a visa and then go play for the USA. And that's just why the US hasn't qualified or done well over the past, 20, 30 years in the rankings.
And I guess it's obviously so well known for other sports, isn't it? Sometimes there's always that push-pull between one sport and another. And we have that in the UK, and obviously netball's huge over here. Do you think, netball's been talked about a lot in terms of becoming part of the Olympic Games at some point. There's been a real ongoing advocacy for inclusion. If it was included in the Olympics, then would that almost become more of a priority for America, do you think? Would that have any influence on decision-making or governance or plans? Would you look to compete?
Yeah, well, netball would then have to be aligned with the US Olympic Committee, which is the governing body, which is only the closest thing you could get to a governing body for sports in the United States, because there is nothing. So there's a lot of national governing bodies who aren't governed by anyone because there is no governance model except for the US Olympic Committee. There would need to be a lot of work done and support globally for that to happen. One, because the requirements to become a US Olympic Committee member is up here, right? So, and it even exceeds when you look at other standards, maybe the World Netball Standards, you look at other governing body standards. Do they meet what's a requirement of an Olympic Committee standard in order to get the sport in there at that level? So there's a lot of work that needs to be done on that level, first of all. And second of all, I know there's a huge push for 2032, right? Especially being in Australia. But you've got to look at, well, the argument has always been netball's always been a Commonwealth sport, and the IOC has said many times you need to get the top Olympic playing countries top of the world in netball. So are they? So no, they're not. Like, it doesn't just happen overnight. And that work really needs to come from a lot of the outside of the US, like the global netball community. If Australia and the UK and New Zealand and South Africa and Jamaica, if they're really serious about it, the development needs to really help come from them to us in the United States for sure.
Yeah, it's putting that graft in, isn't it, at every level, I think, really coming together to make a big difference. I mean, you mentioned before about mixed netball, and obviously that's been a kind of big shift, I think, in our netball communities particularly. What do you love about the mixed game versus the women's game? Why do you think that's got more of do you think it's got more of a future? Do you think, what's the difference?
Yeah, well, Netball America, from the beginning, we've always promoted netball as a co-ed sport. So the mixed netball has been prevalent here. We include it in our US Open Netball Championships every year. We even trialed a couple of years just the men's netball. But we're restricted to space, court and facilities. So there's no way we could run, a women's mixed and men's all in one weekend. So we're looking at other things with that. But it's very, and I grew up, to be honest, as well, playing mixed netball. I played Queensland State mixed netball. We won the state championship. So always a passion of mine, and it really helps, I feel, elevate the athleticism of netball and even brings up the ladies players. And we actually did some mixed netball showcases at Madison Square Garden, which was quite exciting. You can see it on our YouTube there at halftime of the basketball. So that was pretty spectacular. It is very, I suppose, more aerial and very exciting to watch. And to be honest, there's not too many sports, if any, like when we talk with some of our broadcasters and broadcast partners, they get very excited about the mixed netball because there's what other sports do you see at the elite level showing the mixed? Do you see mixed soccer or mixed basketball or mixed volleyball? There's mixed tennis, doubles, but there's not many sports that showcase that. So I think that's a huge opportunity to jump on that bandwagon.
We've been talking a lot about that in terms of trying to kind of change the mindset of what has always been a female-dominated sport. That the risk in the UK, and I don't know if this is the same in other countries, but there's been so much popularity in female football or female cricket that it's almost been difficult to attract a new fan base or new players or like the schools and grassroots level. And that's where I think the mix has a real gap, a real difference, because it's one thing creating a female sport and then putting a male division, or a male sport and creating a female division. It feels like that world of sort of mixed sport is wide open for netball. It's obviously harder for the UK, having always been such a female dominated sport, to change, whereas I think the US and sounds like America have already kind of created that space where it feels more normal to be playing mixed.
And even we know, we utilize a lot of UK umpires that come over for our championships and stuff. And I remember when we first did it and they first were coming over, it was umpiring mixed netball was a whole new deal for them. And we actually had specific training on them on how to deal with that and how to do that. They're definitely a lot more experienced and better now, but still that was very interesting.
We're very clued up. We've always been speaking to a couple of other countries, so we're trying to put together a bit of a landscape for what's happening in the world. And we've got quite a lot. I was just looking at our stats, actually. We've got quite a lot of listeners to the podcast in America. So clearly netball is happening over there. They're interested because they're even listening to our UK podcast, which is fab.
No, that's great. No, that's awesome. And it's great what you guys are doing. And that's the thing. It's for us here, like, we shouldn't have to be doing it alone, right? Because like I said, I meet with CEOs of these other countries where they are more grassroots or they have a lot of expats and they're finding the same challenges. Like the stories I could go through just even about the equipment and what it's taken us to get the equipment here, because we're the sole supplier of all netball equipment here in the United States and uniforms, and it's taken us many years to get the right quality, right, and quantity that's here. So that's been a challenge in itself. Like I said, venues and trying to deal with venues. The UK people laughed at us when they saw us, marking up courts. Here's the tournament director down marking up painter's tape for lines on the court. Like, we have to totally turn with our US Open this November. We're going to Las Vegas, right? And it's open to club teams from around the world and volunteers from around the world. So we have to transform these 6 basketball courts, in a gym type of scenario into a fully, not only the netball courts, but then how do we get it right for the broadcast? We've had like 100,000 viewers, tune into the broadcast. So we've got to also make it look good as well. So we're, we've got so many challenges on that side of things. And then sponsorship, right? I don't know if I mentioned, but we're all pretty much volunteers. So we've worked really hard to win some grants to help, cover the cost of some coaches to do the development work that needs to be done. But yeah, I'm a volunteer. I have a full-time job, but we want to look at changing that as well. So as we kind of tap into some bigger sponsors and things like that, that should also, and that's what needs to happen to change the face of American netball.
And it doesn't feel like it's impossible by any means, does it? Obviously, sport generally in America is so huge and there's so much money involved with it. I think it's just kind of getting that step in the right direction and the work be done. And I definitely think you need us to come to Vegas and give a little bit of support there. I mean, surely a little road trip wouldn't hurt.
That would be fantastic. Super fun. But we're proud of what we've accomplished so far. We still got a lot to go. But for us, it's now we're recognized by a lot of American sports and sport bodies. I've just been invited in a couple of months' time, and we're talking about events where Olympic Committee members are attending, right? So they're having a national governing body summit out on the East Coast. So I'm heading to that. So we're being brought to the lot of table. I had a luncheon with somebody from the 2032 Olympic Committee out of Australia. So that was interesting talking to him, because I straight up said, well, what's the chances of getting netball in the 2032 Olympics? And his response was, well, every time they add a sport to the Olympics, it costs $50 million, right? They're running a business as well. They're looking at ROI. And, there's a lot of other sports probably ahead of netball that are able to bring in and generate the dollars that may be a better case than netball. But And that's where the US comes in, right? You need you've got the corporates here. We've got the numbers. It's not just easy like, oh, it's in the Olympics and suddenly the US becomes good. That's not how it works. We've got to really educate Americans.
Yeah, it just shows, doesn't it, that, like you said, it's not about how many people are in your country or even just the sort of starting foundations. It's got to be a kind of global shift, hasn't it? And I think everyone playing their part in that and But I'm sure,
Yeah.
like anything, anyone with any brains would see how, without bringing the US along, it's always going to feel like more of a challenge. You can't have such a impactful sporting nation not on board. I loved that. I feel like there's so much going on in the world of netball, and just having that kind of business mind, that brains, I love her.
Her work goes far beyond the court, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a force to be reckoned with. I love how we're bringing in all these different countries.
Yeah, and do you know Netball in America is on the up big time? I mean, we know how many listeners are on our podcast. You know my obsession with checking.
You do, because you look every goddamn day.
967 American listeners.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to mention that we might have gone a little bit viral.
A little bit, I think.
A
more than
little
a little bit. Thank you, Mr. Gary Burgess, for sending our podcast to a whole new level.
I knew we loved him for a reason.
I know, right? I mean, I've just been stalking him ever since, so we're actually best friends. I'm going down there soon to Norwich on the farm.
Yeah, but he posts on X. I can't get used to saying X. It's Twitter, isn't it? He's actually really funny on it. I have like little moments where I have to think, oh, I wonder what he said today.
Yeah, give you some idea of the numbers that we reached. So we had some little snippets that went on socials, which our marketing manager, Genius Bex, did. Some of those socials, you know, Chris, they were getting over 250,000 likes. Well, views, sorry.
Amazing.
It's crazy. Our social media, the few weeks that those posts were being posted and our episode was broadcast, had over 2 million views. Madness.
Even people who have never heard of Gary, i.e. non-netballers, have loved the episode. We've had people reaching out, even had a little video sent of one of my other half's work colleagues saying how much he enjoyed the episode. So funny. He's an accountant, knows nothing about netball, but thinks our podcast is brilliant.
Brilliant to get that kind of feedback. And you need to tell us who you want next, because you guys asked for Gary and we made it happen. So hit us up with the next person.
Please be realistic, though.
Let's get on to talk about our arena tour, Chris, because I am so excited about this.
It's been the most fun to actually get to meet so many people. Obviously, not just the players, the Super League, all of that. It is the people who have got their bums on the seats that are actually going to these arenas.
Yeah, so we challenged ourselves at the beginning of the Super League season to reach out to all the clubs and ask if we could go and do some recording for our podcast, speak to some fans, speak to some players. We had such a great response from the league, which I think is really helpful. And I think they can really see the impact that obviously aligning grassroots players with the Super League is having. We are working our way around the venues. So we've done quite a few so far. Obviously, we've got everyone lined up to attend. We wanted to make a bit of a tweak though, didn't we? This is a call out to the people managing the Super League clubs, because obviously we're doing the hard graft here. We're doing the work. And like we said earlier, our posts are getting over 250,000 views. We need to be wearing the T-shirts of the club that we're going to promote. So that's our plea. Our plea to all the people in power in these clubs. Send us. I mean, what size do you want, Chris? Let's get the order
UK 12, please.
Yeah, I'll have a UK 12 as well, actually. Yeah, let's get them sent over nice and early. We need to look the part.
So private message us. We'll send us our address. And joking aside, everybody's got like so much to say about all the merch, haven't they? And we want to be promoting you guys, all the teams. We don't want to pick a favourite, but let's just say if only one team send us a T-shirt, that's the one we're going to wear to every arena.
Yeah. Whether we're promoting them or not. Exactly. But it's been so good. I think it's been real eye-opener, isn't it? See how things work backstage. Obviously send you guys as much information as we can. Get the podcast platform elevated. And it's really working. And I'm looking forward to some of the little road trips we've got going on together. I think a nice little trip to Cardiff.
I don't know if I would say I'm looking forward to them.
We've got time to bond, time to talk.
I'm wondering how I'm going to cope with 5 hours in the car with you on one of our trips.
That's true, actually. Well, that leads us nicely on to our discussion around the Commonwealth Games. Have we actually told our podcast listeners yet
I don't know.
that we are going to the Commonwealth Games?
It's literally like we got an invite. We're like, wow, this is incredible. Our accommodation's booked. We know the dates we're going.
The seats
Seats are
brilliant, aren't they?
amazing.
We might as well be on court. I'm literally going to take my trainers just in case they actually need me because we are that close to the court.
Do you know if we're going to be in the bit behind where they do the filming? We're always the wrong side of the camera. Have you noticed
why
that?
is that?
Do you think people do that on purpose?
Maybe. Maybe. We need to just be a bit clever, don't we? We need to get some kind of preview of what seats would be perfect.
I think
That's a
they're
good
worried
plan.
I'm going to streak.
We were laughing when we were together at the weekend watching the Loughborough Lightning game, and our friend Holly literally picked the most perfect seat, and she kept pausing the telly because we could see her.
See
She
ya.
was right behind the goal.
That's what we want. We want to literally be on the cameras wearing some lovely T-shirts. Well, we'll have our Akuma Sports ones, won't we?
The Commonwealth Games, though, I mean, 5-hour road trip. We need to get some songs lined up. That's going to be fun.
This is something Bex the Boss has come up with. That's her new title, by the way. Has come up with a new initiative, hasn't she? Where she wants the listeners to send us songs that we have to listen to on our journey. We are going to get some random songs coming through.
My 5-year-old always dictates what's on our car journeys, so I think I'll quite enjoy it.
We're mega excited about that. Lots more to come on that, though.
We're going to be supporting all of the teams as well, Scotland, Wales and the Roses. So yeah, we're going to bring you lots of footage, lots of content, lots of interviews. Again, anything you want us to do, ask, speak to, shout up. You've got time.
Are we going to try and meet up with Gary while we're there as well? I feel that we ought to have a night out in Pop World.
See you there. Definitely. I'll bring my outfit. How about talking about the Masters tournament? I'm really excited about that. We've got such a busy summer coming up, Chris. How are we going to get anything else done?
I'm literally away all the time. Weekends are not our own anymore. It's just all netball now. This is in July in Brighton. It's actually called the Masters Festival is the official title, isn't it?
Correct.
It's going to be huge. Massive summer event in Brighton. Netball galore. So many teams have already entered. We've got a couple from our area going, haven't we? You're very busy helping sort them, doing kit, you name it.
Yes, it's an over 35s tournament. There's still team spaces, so shout out if you're looking for something to do over the summer. And it's just going to showcase the sport. It's been pitched as a bit of a replacement from the old Intercounties tournament, if anyone remembers those from back in the day. But it's going to be really fun, and I think it's a really nice sort of celebration of all things netball. Brighton feels like a long way, but I really like Brighton, so I'm not moaning.
I'm not going with you, though, on this trip. I've got a road trip with two of my other close friends.
We're still going to spend loads of quality time together, though, right?
I don't think so, because we're not even staying in the same place together. So I think we'll be like passing ships. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm captain, so I'll just make sure we're not on court at the same time.
Just keep benching me. God damn it.
No, it's going to be great. I think we've got a stand there as well, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yeah, so we're going to do some broadcasting live from there, which I think will be really fun. Might go wrong, but can't be any worse than we normally do.
Don't forget the banner. We've got a lovely banner, haven't we?
And Akuma are providing our kit. They've actually made some kit for our performance team. We've got loads of stuff to bring you on that, and that'll be on our socials and on the podcast a bit later on.
Are we going to be playing any games and things while we're there?
Maybe, yeah, we'll see. Few things planned. Obviously, a few weeks away yet, or a few months away yet. With our summer of netball, it's definitely going to be a busy one.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about the countries that are now listening, because you know what?
Oh, here we go.
We've had some new ones.
Have we?
Oh my God, I just refreshed.
No.
It's on the list. Literally, Poland is on the list. We have one listener in Poland.
Yes. Thank you, Auntie.
We also have listeners in Macedonia. That's new. 2 people are listening in Macedonia. We've got Gibraltar, Kazakhstan, Paraguay, Thailand, Fiji. They're new. Fiji added to the list.
I've always wanted to go there.
Yeah, we'll add that to tour. 59 countries have people listening to our podcast.
I can't even tell you what it means to me that after all these months, my home country has now come on board to support this podcast.
Welcome, Poland. This is a big... I can't believe that just refreshed. Like, it wasn't there when I looked.
I was not expecting that. I was expecting disappointment again.
Did you actually go over to Poland and then try and listen from there to get that one rating?
It is on the cards. Honestly, that is what I was going to do. I haven't got to now. I don't care if it's just one listener.
Poland listener.
This is incredible. Oh,
If
please
you are listening
contact
now,
us. Please.
Yeah, get in touch. Who are you, Poland?
This is
But I
so
mean, some
good.
of these are so cool. We've got Oman, Egypt, Austria, Norway. We've got quite a few in India.
Joking aside, do you think people are clicking on our podcast by accident?
Who knows? I remember when we were in the hockey charts by accident. I mean, that got us some great downloads.
Oh, hilarious.
That's made
do
my
we
day.
need to mention what we've got coming up in our next couple of episodes?
Yes, let's do that. I'm really looking forward to the LGBTQ plus episode that's coming up.
Me too. They are an amazing group of people. And do you know what? I learnt so much from them. So seriously, listeners, it is one not to be missed.
Yeah, we had a club called the Unicorns come on and they told us all about their sort of history, their backstory. It was really good and we can't wait to release that episode.
Yeah,
'cause I think
it's such a good
well worth
interview.
listening.
We loved meeting them all. We loved having a chat and we actually loved understanding because you know me, I ask the questions people actually want to know the answers to. So one not to be missed.
Also, we've got a couple of grassroots episodes. One I think will be really good, talking about how you prep for trials and all that kind of world of developing players. I think that's going to be really helpful for our listeners.
Are we allowed to talk about one of the Super League players we've got on or not? Are we not allowed to mention that?
Well, if anything, that might give it a little bit more anticipation because people are now wondering who the hell it actually is. So we've probably done ourselves a favour there.
We haven't just got one amazing guest coming up. We've got 3 or 4 that we've got in the bag ready. And they're going to be epic. We're so lucky we're doing what we're doing. I can't tell you, I'm absolutely so honoured that we are the voice of some of our grassroots netballers. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's such a privilege. And obviously it's something that we can see the importance of. And it's just elevating the sport, the platform. It's been so good. And now we've got a Polish listener. I feel like the job is done.
I feel I can retire. That's it. Game over for me. Before we finish, a big thank you to our amazing sponsor, Akuma Sports.
Akuma Sports create high-quality custom teamwear for clubs, schools and organisations. If your team is looking for professional netball kits, training gear or off-court apparel, make sure you check them out at akumasports.com.
That's akumasports.com. What an episode. Please like, follow and share to help us keep creating this utterly amazing content.
All the information from today's show is in our magic show notes.
And of course, you can contact us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Oh no, I got it wrong.
Yes.
I got it wrong. Hold on.
We've moved on.
Tic-tac. Or you can email us to the Best Netball Podcast.
You didn't say ever.
Do I have to say ever as well?
Yeah, and then I say at gmail.com.
Oh, God, right, hold on.
Oh, not again. It was bad enough the first time.
Or email us at the Best Netball Podcast Ever.
Creepy.
At gmail.com.
Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
I mean, how many ways is there to sing that?
Goodbye. We've said goodbye now. No more
It turns out
comments.
there's too many, Carla. Way too many.
No more comments. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening.